Hello everybody, this is Gary Harrison with Connect to Business. So I want to thank everyone for coming to our webinar today. And in this webinar we have a very special topic, which is how to take control of your inventory when selling through multiple channels. So in this presentation there will be myself, I'm Gary Harrison, the Vice President of Operations and Development, and Leo Pettiglorio, who's our team lead of our customer and inventory modules. So let's get started. So there's a few concepts that we're going to go through first, and then after that we're going to show some of the exciting new features and also some existing features that we have in the application. But as we're putting together Connect to Business, we really took a look at where the reality of today's businesses is, where the future of business is, and put together features that we think that not only helps our customers with business today, but also business tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about that. So one of the things that we've noticed as we've been working with companies is that businesses are selling through more sales channels than ever before. And let's talk about that a little bit. So today it's not uncommon for a company to have some retail operations, to be taking orders over the telephone, to have an e-commerce website where they're taking orders, to have mobile devices where traveling salespeople are taking trade show orders, or taking orders when they go to deliver merchandise or whatever. Also, there's been an explosion of third-party marketplaces, such as eBay and Overstock and Amazon and others, where now you're getting orders from these third-party sources. In taking a look at tomorrow's business reality, we see that the connecting of the supply chain and retail businesses together to share inventory data, the market's moving that way. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So we've been building a network that we haven't launched yet, but will be launched shortly, which we call the Wuhan Network. So with the Wuhan Network, it's all about combining the supply chain up with their customers. So for example, with the Wuhan Network, you'll be able to flip through the catalogs, product catalogs of your suppliers, choose which products of your suppliers that you wish to sell that you normally do not stock, and those items will be available for sale. And then we'll handle all the transaction processing for you as well. So let's take a look at that a little bit. So the Wuhan Network, we can download all the products from our suppliers. We can offer those products for sale in our store via a kiosk. So if a customer comes over to the kiosk, they see something, the product happens to be in stock, it will tell them the location that they can pick the item up in the store. If the item's not in stock, the customer will have the ability to purchase the item on the kiosk and have it delivered straight to their home. Same thing with the website and, of course, mobile devices as well. So imagine you're a shoe store and somebody is trying on size 9 shoes. It's not really fitting them right, but you don't have the size 9.5 in stock. You can give them the option of, okay, we know that the 9.5 is your exact size. Why don't I just go ahead and have this shipped to your home? And the salespeople can use the tablet devices out on the sales floor. The other special thing about the Wuhan Network is the ability to be able to handle all of the purchase orders and the item information and the sales order information, automate the entire routine. But in order to do that, we need to have really accurate sales, inventory availability numbers, and that's where some of this comes in. So here's the problem that businesses are facing today, is to try to keep track of their available inventory when selling through multiple sales channels. Now, many of you that's met me and spoke with me in various capacities know I used to own a wholesale distribution business, and we had thousands of products and tens of thousands of customers, and it was always difficult for me to try to figure out what I had in stock, what I had available for sale, what I had to order, and those were some of the challenges that I faced in that business. But it was much easier back then, because if I was on the phone with a client and the client said, hey, do you have 400 of this? I could put them on hold. I could go over to the guy who knows everything. Every business has that one guy that knows everything and says, hey, this item, do we have 400 back there? And it goes, oh, yeah, we got multiple pallets and there's plenty. And then you get on the phone with the client and say you have 400. But now in today's environment where you're selling through all these channels, it's a lot more complicated. So we thought long and hard about this, and we've come up with what we think is the solution. And the solution is 2 features that we have inside Connect to Business. One called Inventory Allocation, one called Reservation, and with these 2 features, we feel that companies will be able to better control their inventory, allow them to work with their supply chains more effectively, and to be able to increase profitability by better managing their inventory. Let's talk a little bit about the benefit of this approach. One thing that our e-commerce module can do that really I'm not aware of any other off-the-shelf application that can really do this, but you'll see it on something like Amazon.com, a company that uses something that's fully integrated, is the ability to not only show that a product is out of stock, but also the ability to tell the customer if you order today when we'll ship it. So because of the fact that our solution is fully integrated and includes everything from the e-commerce all the way down to the purchasing, if an item is out of stock, instead of just blindly showing an out-of-stock message, we can actually let a customer know that, hey, if you order today, this is when you're going to get it. The great thing about this is it will help you sell products that you do not have in stock, number one. Number two is it will help you increase the number of turns that you have for your inventory by allowing you to bring product in from your supplier, to fulfill the orders immediately, and to be able to ship those orders out and turn them into cash. So instead of having product that's sitting on your shelf for an average of 30, 60 days, you can now have products that are sitting on your shelf an average maybe a week. So this is the type of feature that allows you to increase your turns, which increases your cash flow, allows you to invest more into your business, and to be able to increase other areas of business as well. Small feature, but huge benefits. One of the other things, and the only website I've really seen that does something like this is something like Apple.com. Again, a fully integrated system with that one. But in the previous example, or previous screenshot, you see where the consumer wanted to order 5. Well, the system's smart enough to know not only is this product out of stock, but it's also smart enough to know that we've reserved a certain amount of items from our next receiving, so we have no more availability. So let's go to the receiving after that. So if you have multiple purchase orders from the supplier of that product, so you have your items coming in maybe staggered, every week you have additional availability, then the system will be smart enough to say, let the customer know, we'll go ahead and send these 3 on the 28th, and the additional 2 that you've ordered we're going to ship on the 31st. Again, a really powerful feature, but it's helping you keep control of not only your inventory, but your incoming inventory. All right, so let's kind of start with some of the basics. So we're going to start out with understanding the inventory allocation and reservation. What is allocation? Good question, right? Allocation is in-stock item quantities that have been promised to a customer. Now, we will talk about another concept coming up called committed. In our system, committed means this is what you've taken orders for. Allocation means this is what we've promised to a customer. So if a customer calls up and says, I want 100 of something, and you go ahead and allocate 30, then you're only promising the customer, I'm going to send you this 30 at this particular date. So again, allocation is what you've promised to the customer at the time of taking the order. One important concept, you can never allocate for more than what you have in stock. So if we have 10 in stock and someone orders 100, we can allocate 10. We can't allocate 11. Okay, what is reservation? So reservation is incoming item quantities that have been promised to a customer. And you can never reserve more than what you have on purchase order. So let's take that example. Someone orders 100. You have 10 in stock. So now you have 90 units that they've ordered that you don't have available. If you have those on purchase order, then at the time of taking the sales order, then you can reserve those quantities against an incoming purchase order. So your conversation with your client would go a little bit like this. Thank you for your order for 100. We will go ahead and ship the 10 to you today, and we will ship the balance of the 90 to you on January 31st. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the reservation process. So with the reservation process, you take the order, then you receive the products, and as you receive the product, what will happen is the system will automatically turn that reservation into an allocation. That's really important because what happens too often in ERP software that does not follow this approach is new customers that place orders right after a product is received will receive those products, whereas older customers that maybe have back orders do not get the product, especially when things are allocated. So the reservation process immediately gets turned to the allocation. So the promise that you made to the customer that we're going to go ahead and ship this 90 as soon as the product comes in, or on January 31st in the example I gave before, is kept, because the system will allow you to keep that has the processes in place that allow you to keep those promises. And of course, the last step there is the fulfill the order. All right, so I'm going to take a look at a couple of the screens in the system and highlight some of the fields that we have and just go through them. So when you load up our application, especially in the inventory screen, but also at the bottom of the sales or invoicing screens, we have a stock information table. And that stock information table includes information as to how much stock that you have in your various warehouses. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the units in stock. So for example, in this screenshot, we have 60 that's available in our main warehouse and 129 available in our outlet warehouse. Next, we're going to take a look at units allocated. So if you notice, for our main warehouse, we've allocated 3 units. So that means that someone placed an order, we promised them we're going to ship those 3 orders, those units, and that's our allocation. Now you'll also notice that this is underlined as a hyperlink, so if I was to double click this, I would get a list of exactly who it is that these 3 were promised to. So I can keep track of all of the commitments made by the company. Now next is a very important one called free stock. So our free stock for the main warehouse is 57, which of course is our units in stock of 60, less the units that we promised are allocated to someone of 3. So we have 57 items that we can allocate to additional orders today. Now you'll notice that the committed number is the same as the allocated. Committed means that we have orders on file for 3. Why do we keep allocated and committed separate? Good question. The reason why we do that is because in some cases you may not want to allocate all of your available free stock to particular customers. So let's say, for example, like in this example, we have 57 available in free stock. And let's say we have a customer of ours that we give a very low price to. They don't pay their bills on time. And we know that this product is selling very, very fast, and we don't expect to get more for a little while. So if they were to call and say, hey, I want to order 40, you may decide to allocate 20 to them, or 30, whatever you decide to do, but you may not decide to allocate the full amount of their order until a future receiving. So you might say, well, I only have available 20 to sell to you today, so I'll go ahead and I'll allocate those 20 to you, but I do have a receiving coming in 3 weeks, and I'll go ahead and fulfill the rest of those in 3 weeks. So it allows the order entry people to be able to make educated decisions on who gets what stock, especially when an item is approaching a back order status. On order basically means on purchase order. So we have one of this item that's coming in on purchase order. There are some other fields that's in here, but for this particular topic, we're not going to discuss those. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to stop listening to me talk. Yay! And we're going to jump into some scenarios of how to use reservation, how to do allocation, and some of the cool little things that we put into the program to make those processes easy and fun. From here, I will give the presentation over to Leo Pettiglorio, who is just a fantastic guy, and I know you guys will love listening to him. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Leo Pettiglorio, and I'm here to show you a live demonstration of stock allocation and reservation in Connected Business 13. So we will go through some 5 scenarios. I'm going to show you each one. So let's go through first with the first scenario. In this one, we'll just do a simple stock allocation with reservation. So let's say one item is 100% in stock, while the other item is partially in stock, but we have an open purchase order. So let's start from creating a sales order. So let's say the customer ordered 10 for each of the items. After I enter the quantity order, the system will automatically check if there are free stock and allocate that immediately to the line item. And if there's not enough free stock, or if the item is out of stock, and you have open purchase orders, the open purchase orders will be automatically reserved to that line item. So as you can see here on the sales order, item number 1, the allocate quantity is 10. That's because we have enough stock for this item, as you can see on the availability section of the screen. Whereas item number 2, it only allocated 6. That's because we only have 6 free stock for this item, as also shown on the availability section. And what happened to the other 4? As you can see, it's automatically reserved. If we focus on the reserve column, the footer of the screen will be automatically switched to the PO reservation details. So as you can see here, the line item 2 has been reserved to PO 16, and it has a quantity of 10, so that's why we have enough stock or enough quantity to reserve to the line item. So let's say the customer is okay to receive his order partially. So what we can do as to fulfill the order is print the pick and ticket. We'll only preview the pick and ticket. So just to recap what I have mentioned earlier, so we have created a sales order, and the first item has been fully allocated because we have enough stock for that, whereas the second item has been partially allocated, but we have open purchase order. That's why the other 4 quantity has been automatically reserved. So as you can see here, the quantity of 4 has been reserved to a purchase order. Since the quantity ordered is 10, we have enough quantity to reserve to this line item. So let's say the customer is okay to receive his order partially. We can go ahead and fulfill this order. So you can do that by printing the pick and ticket. So let's just print preview for this demo. On the picking ticket, we included the quantity to indicate what you should pick. So as you can see here, the first item, the to pick quantity is 10. That's because it's fully allocated. While the second line item, item number 2, you only need to pick 6 because that's what we have allocated, or the system allocated to this item. So let's say you're done. You have picked the order. You have packed and shipped it. Now you can process this order to an invoice. So let's click Convert to Sales Invoice. Let's review the invoice that has been created. So as you can see here, the allocate quantity and the reserve quantity has been carried over to the sales invoice. And also notice that we have back order. That's because the second line item has been partially allocated. And we have 4 that's reserved to this item. So that when you process the back order, the items that you receive will be automatically allocated to that back order. So let's say you're already sure with the information on the invoice. So you can now post this. So after we post the invoice, a back order has been created. So you can use that back order transaction to process the remaining order of your customer. So let's check the back order that has been created. As you can see here, so this is the back order. As you can see here, the reservation has been carried over to this back order. So that when you receive the purchase order, the stock will be automatically allocated to this order. So let's see that. Let's receive the purchase order. After we post the goods received transaction, that's the time that it allocates the stock that has been reserved to the purchase order. So let's review or check the back order if it's indeed updated with the stock allocated, or rather allocated with stock. So as you can see here, the stock is now allocated to the back order. So you can then fulfill this and ship the stock to your customer. So same process, we print the picking ticket, and after we print the picking ticket, you pack it and ship the order to your customer. And once done, you can process this order to an invoice. Then you're done. You have completely shipped your order, the order of your customer. Now, what if, let's go to the next scenario. Okay, so we're now on the second scenario, wherein we will show you how to reserve stock when it has multiple open purchase orders. So let's start from creating the order. For this one, let's just order 6. Okay, since this item is out of stock, that's why the allocate quantity is 0. But it is fully reserved because we have some purchase order open for this product. So let's see that on the PO reservation section. As you can see here, this item has multiple purchase orders open. The reservation has been automatically done based on the order of PO creation. You can also see here the due dates of each purchase order. So this information are very useful, especially in negotiating the ship date to your customer. Gary mentioned this earlier. Let's say you're on the telephone with your customer, so you tell them that this item is out of stock. But you can tell them or to your customer that if they can wait to the next day, you can ship the 2 of his order. But if they can wait a couple of days, you can ship 4 of his order. But if he can wait further until the 26th, you can ship all of his order. So let's say the customer agree to wait until the 26th. You can then enter the agreed date on the ship date field. And then let's save this. So when you receive the purchase orders, one by one, it will automatically update the allocation of this order as well as the ship date, which you and your customers agreed on. So let's see that. Let's receive the 3 purchase orders that has been reserved. Okay, so we just received all the purchase orders. Now let's check the sales order. So as you can see here, the allocated quantity of the sales order has been updated. So it's fully allocated now. And the ship date has been updated as well. This basically tells you that you and your customers agreed to ship this order on the 26th. Since the order is now fully allocated, you can start fulfilling this order and process this order to an invoice. Now, on the third scenario, let's say your item is out of stock and there's no open purchase orders. No problem, because you can do the order reservation during the purchase order entry. So let's see that in action. First, let's create a couple of orders for the same item. So the allocate quantity is 0, and also reserve is 0 because this item is out of stock, and at the same time there are no open purchase order. Now let's do the purchase order. Once I've entered the order quantity, the system automatically reserves all the sales order that are open and no allocation. So as you can see here, on the item reservation section, the 2 sales orders that we've created previously has been automatically reserved. Also notice that we've included the customer contact and telephone information on this section. So you can call your customer and update them regarding the status of their order as you create or update the purchase order. Also, you can override the reservation manually. So let's say you can only order a limited quantity from your supplier. So what will happen is that some of your orders are now some of your sales orders are now partially reserved. But let's say on this example, Mr. David Hater is a valuable customer for you because he is a frequent buyer, whereas Mr. Daniel Castle is just a new customer. So to keep your valued customer happy, you may allocate all or reserve all the PO to that customer. So this is how flexible it is to reserve PO to several sales order. So to proceed, let's change the order quantity to 20 and save the order. Once we receive this order, all the sales orders that's reserved to this will be automatically updated with the stock allocation. So let's go ahead and receive this PO. And let's check the sales orders. Okay, so as you can see here, the stock is now has been automatically allocated to this sales order and also to the other one. So you can then just continue with the fulfillment and processing of the order to invoice. Now, what if you don't keep stock of your product because you only order them from your supplier when a customer already ordered it from you? So that's what you call a special order. When you create a special order PO, it will be automatically reserved to the sales order. So let's see that. To create the special order, click Create Purchase Order on the Sales Order toolbar. Once the special order PO has been created, it's automatically reserved to the sales order, as you can see here on the sales order screen. That information is also reflected on the purchase order side. So that when you receive the purchase order, the stock will be automatically allocated to the sales order. So let's see that. Let's receive the PO. So the stock is now automatically allocated or has been automatically allocated to the sales order. So you can now fulfill this and process the order to an invoice. But let's say instead of you do a special order, you do dropship orders. So same thing or similar with the special order. Once the special order or dropship PO has been created, it will be automatically reserved to the sales order. So let's see that. Let's create a dropship order. To create the dropship PO, click Create Dropship Order on the toolbar. So once the PO has been created, you can see that the sales order has been updated automatically with the reservation. Now let's say you want to invoice your customer immediately. So what you can do is convert the order to invoice, and there will be an option. There's an option to convert the PO to goods received immediately. Click yes. By doing that, the allocate and ship quantity on the invoice has been updated. If you decided not to automatically receive the PO, the allocate and ship quantity on the invoice would be 0. However, if you receive the PO right after, the allocate and ship will be updated as well. Now, what if your stock doesn't come from a purchase order, but rather you do a stock transfer, or you do a stock adjustment to increase your stock, and at the same time you have lots of orders you need to allocate stock to? So what you can use is the allocate pre-stock routine to allocate stock in batch or bulk. So let's see that. First, let's create some orders. Now let's do a stock transfer. After we do the stock transfer, the stocks or the products now have stock in the main warehouse. So we can now use the allocate pre-stock routine to allocate the stock in batch. On the screen, you have some options to filter the sales orders, so you can manage the allocation easily. Since my current warehouse is main, so I'll leave the warehouse code to main, and I would like to search by line item due date, and the date criteria is today. Basically, it will search for the orders that are due today. due to be shipped today. So to apply the filter, click Go button. So these are the 3 sales orders that we have created previously. Now to allocate the stock, you click Auto Allocate. So as you can see now, the stocks have been allocated to the sales orders. And if you view the sales order, the allocation is also updated on that transaction. Once you're done with the stock allocation, you can print the pick and tickets and fulfill the orders and then process the orders to invoice. So that's it. I hope you learn a lot on how to allocate and reserve stock in a Connected Business version 13.
This webinar, along with this video, will be available online. I'll send out an email to everyone tomorrow with the URL in case you want to go through and take a look at it again. The webinar from yesterday was also recorded. That's also available online. So feel free to go up, and as we do these webinars, we hope to see you in future ones. And if you're unable to attend, check out the videos. There's some really cool stuff that we built into the application, and I think that the more that each and every one of our customers understand how to use those, the happier they're going to be. So thank you very much.